Captivating, page 6, chapter 1. Unseen, unsought, and uncertain. I know I am not alone in this nagging sense of failing to measure up, a feeling of not being good enough as a woman. Every woman I've ever met feels it. Something deeper than just a sense of a failing at what she does. An underlying gut feeling of failing as who she is. I am not enough, and I am too much at the same time. Not pretty enough, not thin enough, not kind enough, not gracious enough, not disciplined enough, but too emotional, too needy, too sensitive, too strong, too opinionated, too messy. The result is shame, the universal companion of woman. It hunts us, nipping at our heels, feeding on our deepest fear that we will end up abandoned and alone. After all, if we were better women, whatever that means, life wouldn't be so hard, right? We wouldn't have so many struggles. There would be less sorrow in our hearts. Why is it so hard to create meaningful friendships and sustain them? Why do our days seem so unimportant, filled not with romance and adventure, but with duties and demands? We feel unseen, even by those who are closest to us. We feel unsought, that no one has the passion or the courage to pursue us, to get past our messiness, to find the woman deep inside. And we feel uncertain, uncertain what it even means to be a woman, uncertain what it truly means to be feminine, uncertain if we are all ever will be. Aware of our deep feelings, our failings, we pour contempt on our own hearts for wanting more. Oh, we long for intimacy and for adventure. We long to be the beauty of some great story. But the desires set deep in our hearts seem like a luxury granted only to those women who get their acts together. The message to the rest of us, rather from a driven culture or a driven church, is try harder. The heart of a woman. And in all the exhortations, we have missed the most important thing of all. We have missed the heart of a woman, and that is not wise thing to do. For as the scriptures tell us, the heart is central. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Proverbs 4:23. Above all else. Why? Because God knows that our heart is core to who we are. It is the source of all our creativity, our courage, and our convictions. It is the fountainhead of our faith, our hope, and of course, our love. This wellspring of life within us is the very essence of our existence, the center of our being. Your heart as a woman is the most important thing about you. Think about it. God created you as a woman. God created man in his own image, male and female, he created them. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. Whatever it means to bear God's image, you do so as a woman, female. That's how and where you bear his image. Your feminine heart has been created with the greatest of all possible dignities. As a reflection of God's own heart, you are a woman to your soul, to the very core of your being. And so the journey to discover what God meant when He created woman in His image. When He created you as His woman, that journey begins with your heart. Another way of saying this is that the journey begins with desire. The desires that God has placed into our hearts are clues as to who we really are and the role that we are meant to play. Many of us have come to despise our desires, or at least try to bury them. They have become a source of pain or shame. We are embarrassed of them, but we don't need to be. The desires of our heart bear a great glory because, as we will detail further in the next chapter, they are precisely where we bear the image of God. We long for certain things because He does. Look at the games that little girls play, and if you can remember what you dreamed of as a little girl, look at the movies women love. Listen to your own heart and the hearts of the woman you know. What it is that a woman wants. What does she dream of? Think again of women like Tamar, Ruth, Rahab. Not very churchy women, but women held up for esteem in the Bible. We think you'll find that every woman in her heart of hearts longs for three things: to be romanced, to play an irreplaceable role in a great adventure, and to unveil beauty. That's what makes a woman come alive. To be romanced, I will find you. No matter how long it takes, no matter how far, I will find you. Nathaniel to Cora in The Last of the Mohicans. One of my favorite games growing up was Kidnapped and Rescued. I know many little girls who played this or wish they had. To be the beauty abducted by the bad guys, fought for the rescued by a hero. Some version of this had a place in all our dreams, like Sleeping Beauty, like Cinderella, like Marian, or like Cora in The Last of the Mohicans. I wanted to be the heroine and have my hero come for me. Why am I embarrassed to tell you this? I simply loved feeling wanted and fought for. This desire is set deep in the heart of every little girl and every woman, yet most of us are ashamed of it. We downplay it. We pretend that it is less than it is. We are women of the 21st century, after all, strong, independent, and capable. Thank you very much. Uh-huh. And who is buying all those romance novels? Think about the movies you once loved and the movies you love now. Is there a movie for little girls that doesn't have a handsome prince coming to rescue his beloved? Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, The Little Mermaid. A little girl longs for romance, to be seen and desired, to be sought after and fought for. So the beast must win Beauty's heart in Beauty and the Beast. So in the gazebo scene in The Sound of Music, the captain finally declares his love to Maria by moonlight and song and then a kiss. And we sigh. Isn't something stirred in you? And Edward finally returns at the end of sense of sensibility to proclaim his love for Eleanor. Then you're not married? She asks, nearly holding her breath. No, he says. My heart is and always will be yours. Or how about when Friedrich returns to Joe at the end of Little Woman? Or the sunset scene at the bow of the Titanic? And we can't forget Braveheart, how William Wallace pursued Maroon with flowers and notes and invitations to ride. She is captured by his love, riding off, bareback with him in the rain. Come now, wouldn't you want to ride through the Scottish Highlands with a man like Mel Gibson? When Joan and I began to date, I had just come out of a 3-year relationship that left me wounded, defensive, and gun shy. Joan and I had been friends for many years, but we never seemed to connect in the romance department. I like him, and he would want to remain just friends. He would feel more for me, and I would not for him. You get the picture. Until one autumn, after he had become a Christian, I was desperately seeking our spiritual journeys and the desires of our hearts finally met. John wrote me letters, lots of letters, each one filled with his love for God and his passion for me, his desires for me. He spent hours carving a beautiful heart out of manzanita wood, then attached it into the delicate chain and surprised me with it. I still cherish the necklace. I came out to my car after my weight, weight wrestling shift ended to find his poetry underneath my windshield. Verses written for me, to me, he loved me. He saw me and knew me and pursued me. I loved being romanced. When we are young, we want to be precious to someone, especially daddy. As we grow older, the desire matures into a longing to be pursued, desired, wanted as a woman. Why am I so embarrassed by the depth of my desire for this? As the young friend just the other day, we were talking about her life as a single woman and how she loves her work but would much rather be married. I don't want to hang my life on it, but still I yearn. Of course, you're a woman. You're a woman. Now being romanced isn't all that a woman wants. And John and I are certainly not saying that a woman ought to drive the meaning of her existence from whether or not she's being or has been romanced by a man. But don't you see that you want this? To be desired, to be pursued by one who loves you, to be someone's priority. Most of our addictions as women flare up when we feel that we are not loved or sought after. At some core place, maybe deep within, perhaps hidden or buried in her heart. Every woman wants to be seen, wanted, and pursued. We want to be romanced.